Okay, so we are trying to complete here AZ-104 as we discussed into the demo as well. Then we are going to cover AZ-303. Okay, with all the scenarios, all the actual lab, practical labs, with the migration, with the site-to-site VPN networking is a very important topic. Okay, to clear the interview and to clear the exam as well. And then we are going to cover some basics of AZ-500, which is security paper, which is Azure security. So like security is a very important topic. Okay, without security, like you will not able to uh, put your infrastructure into the production in. Okay, so security will be the very important topic. Okay, so when you go for interview, so definitely the next company or next person will ask on a security as well. Okay, so before starting, like what we will do today, we will understand all the basics. Into the basics, we will discuss how Microsoft Azure works in the backend and which services we are going to cover. And also we will understand the architecture of Microsoft Azure portal. Okay, how it works in the backend when we create an account. Okay, we'll understand the basic prerequisite as well. Okay, because what you need to do, you need to create a one free account, and that particular free account you need to use for the lab purpose as well. So that free account will work for next 1 month. After 1 month, you need to convert your account or subscription into the pay as you go model, and then you can perform all the labs. Okay, because Microsoft will not allow that particular free account more than 30 days. So the 30 days will be the trial period. Okay, and into the 30 days again, you will not able to perform all the labs. Okay, very limited labs you can perform. So what I would recommend here, like once you 30 days completed, then you need to upgrade your subscription with the pay as you go model. So when you upgrade your subscription into the pay as you go model, so every month you will get the bill as per your utilization and as per your consumption. So as per my understanding, as per my experience, like you will not get a bill more than 200 rupees, 200 or 300 rupees. Okay, but what you need to make sure, once you complete the lab, once you perform all the tasks, you need to delete the complete lab. Okay, so once you delete the lab, then Microsoft will stop your metering, or we can say billing. So any question till uh, related to the account or related to the subscription? Till any question? Arjun?
No.
So we need to create a new account for this or what?
So yes, you need to create a new account. So you can have, or you can use the existing email as well, email ID as well. Okay, to create a free account. But what I recommend, you just create a fresh account. Okay, from the Outlook or live.com. Don't use the Gmail, because sometimes Microsoft is not accepting the Gmail accounts. Okay, for the new account. So just create a one Outlook ID. Okay, on outlook.com, and you can use that particular ID to create a Microsoft Azure account. So any question till? Okay, so let's start. Let me open the my PPT. Okay, so what we are going to do now, first we'll understand the basics. Okay, like what is cloud computing. Okay, and again we'll focus on that particular slide as well. Okay, so like all the people are working with the on-premises infrastructure, right? So into the on-premises, when you compare with the Microsoft cloud, so everything managed by your team. Okay, like networking is completely managed by network team, storage is completely managed by storage team, servers completely managed by server team, virtualization is completely managed by VMware or Hyper-V team. Operating system like Windows or Linux completely managed by Windows and Linux team. Again, you have middleware, your runtime, your data, your applications. Applications also managed by your application team, database managed by the DB team like SQL or Oracle. And with the help of multiple teams, like you are managing your physical data center, which is located in your premises. Okay, which is located in your data center. So with all the teams, like they are managing each and every component, and after that, like management is expecting a 99% or we can say maximum uptime from the infrastructure, right? Because when you put some mission critical application on the data center, okay, so in such scenarios your management will expect a maximum uptime from the physical data center, right? So when you compare with the cloud infrastructure into the cloud, like cloud is offering a multiple services like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, backup as a service, DR as a service, then firewall as a service, application gateway as a service, load balancer as a service. So there are multiple services. Okay, so like out of like I have mentioned here only three services, which is very basic services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So when we say infrastructure as a service, the complete backend infrastructure. Okay, the complete backend infrastructure. So let's take an example. Like I wanted to deploy a virtual machine in my data center. Okay, what is my requirement? I need a one virtual machine. I need one VM. Okay, so what I need to do, okay, to achieve the virtual machine? So I need to ask my Windows team to deploy the virtual machine, right? And my Windows team will deploy one virtual machine. So what Windows team will do here? Windows team will deploy one virtual machine. Okay, so Windows team will deploy the virtual machine, and top up of virtual machine, again your Windows team will deploy the operating system. Top up of operating system, your application team will deploy the application as well, right? So what I wanted to highlight here, which is very important, like when you deploy the virtual machine, so the complete hardware infrastructure you are going to manage in your on premises. So this is your, so this is your on prem, and the complete hardware managed by your team, admin team, or we can say hardware team. But when you compare with the infrastructure as a service, my networking is managed by storage, Microsoft Azure. Storage is managed by Microsoft Azure. Servers managed by Microsoft Azure, and virtualization layer completely managed by Microsoft Azure. So still, till virtualization layer is complete managed by Microsoft Azure. So we are not going to own, or we are not going to manage the complete backend infrastructure. So as a user, as a client, as a customer, what we are going to do, we are going to deploy a single virtual machine on top of cloud, and top of a virtual machine, again we are going to deploy the application as per our requirement. So that's why Microsoft is saying this is the infrastructure as a service concept. So the complete physical infrastructure managed by Microsoft. Okay, and top of that particular infrastructure, we are going to deploy virtual machine with operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application. So that particular stack managed by my team or my company as a customer, as a client, or as a user. So when we compare with the next service, which is platform as a service, so under the platform as a service, the complete platform managed by Microsoft. Okay, till runtime. So we are going to manage only the application and data. So I can give here one example, like in infrastructure as a service, the virtual machine is comes under infrastructure as a service. Okay, so let me copy that particular slide for you. See, virtual machine comes under infrastructure as a service. So what is the example of platform as a service? So Azure SQL. Azure SQL. So Azure SQL is comes under platform as a service because we are going to deploy only the SQL. We are not going to manage the Windows. We are not going to manage the virtual machine, and that particular component comes under platform as a service. Now into the next option, which is software as a service, the complete stack managed by Microsoft. Okay, the complete stack managed by Microsoft here. So I can give here one more example, which is Office 365. Okay, Office 365 complete managed by Microsoft. Apart from software service, again you will get DR as a service, firewall service. So there are multiple services. Okay, so in our lab, in our course content, we are going to cover DR as a service, backup as a service, firewall as a service. We will discuss the third party firewall as well. So any question till, any doubt till? Any question till?
Yogesh, you said in the infrastructure as a service, the virtualization part is done by the Azure, and
Right,
from the OS, we need to deploy the OS,
right,
right?
right,
So how will deploy that OS on the cloud? Suppose we have that operating system with us.
right.
So how will send that OS
Exactly.
to the cloud, and then how we will
Yes,
deploy
I
it?
got your, yeah, yeah, I got your question. I got your question. Like
Okay.
uh, you're asking like how we can use existing image, okay, from on-prem to cloud prem,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yes.
so we will discuss. Okay, just give us some time. We will
Okay.
discuss it. Okay, yeah, because that particular lab also we are going to perform during our practicals. Okay, because
Okay.
this is,
Okay.
yeah, this is a very important topic. Okay, because like into
Yeah.
the industry, people are doing the same thing. Okay, if you have any customized
Okay.
OS, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
just give me 1 minute. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what we'll do? Let's go into the another slide and we'll discuss the basics. Okay.
Yogesh, this is
Yeah.
Samir here.
Yes, Amir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah. Yogesh, you explained about the physical infrastructure in a diagram. So
Right.
my question was the same, the
Mhm.
one the person who asked previously. Can you at least give a hint of how the virtual in a diagram so that the initial part at least we will have some knowledge on how if, for an infrastructure as a service, how the virtualization
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Thank
issues.
you.
Yeah. See, this is my physical infrastructure, physical data center, we can say. And into the physical data center, first you will get a storage layer. Okay. Is the physical rack, is all the infrastructure, which is hardware, and top of that, like ESXi is the virtualization layer. ESXi will be the virtualization layer, and some people are using the Hyper-V as a virtualization layer. So some people are using ESXi, some people are using Microsoft Hyper-V. Okay, and top of that, like we are going to deploy the virtual machine. So this is the virtual machine. This is the virtual machine. This is the virtual machine. Virtual machine. Virtual machine. So virtual machine. Virtual machine. Top of a virtual machine, your application team is deploying the application. So this is app. This is app. This is the application. This is the application. This is the application. So your physical boxes are completely connected to your storage. It's completely connected to the SAN. Is connected to SAN. Is connected to SAN. Also, your physical servers are getting connected with the network layer. Network layer is very important, and that particular network layer, like people are deploying with the redundancy model. With the redundancy, with the redundancy, with the redundancy, with the redundancy, like the each ESXi is getting connected with the both network switches. Okay, to maintain the redundancy. Now your network is completely connected to your firewall, which is security layer. Okay, and again your firewall is getting connected here. So this is your WAN port. This is your WAN port, and that your WAN ports are getting connected with the ISP. Is it right? So like companies are maintaining the multiple ISPs. ISP2. ISP1. Okay. So this is the infrastructure, okay, which you will get into the on-premises data centers. So what I wanted to highlight, okay, the all that stack managed by your infrastructure, right? But when you compare with the cloud, any cloud, so my storage managed by Microsoft, my physical server managed by Microsoft, then Hyper-V managed by Microsoft, VM managed by Microsoft. So what we are going to manage as a user, as a client, as a customer? Operating system, like into the OS, either Windows, Linux, or any other OS. Okay. Then application stack, okay, we are going to manage, means my app team will manage. Then virtual network, we need to manage. IP addressing, we need to manage. So here my security. So I'm talking Azure level security, Azure data center level security managed by Microsoft. So you got the concept, right? Any question till any question? Any doubt till? Okay. So those component managed by Microsoft, and those component we are going to manage as a client or as a customer of the Microsoft. So this is the physical infrastructure, okay, which I am having. My storage, my physical servers, my network layer, and my firewall layer, okay, which is built up into the on-premises data center. Okay, so let's understand like how Microsoft works. Okay, let's go into the another slide. Okay, so what is the prerequisite, okay, to create an account on Microsoft portal? So the prerequisite here is email ID, credit card details. Microsoft will not deduct. See, initially Microsoft will deduct only 2 rupees from your account for the verification. So credit card is required for only the verification purpose. So if you are using a free account, okay, free tier account, so Microsoft will not deduct a single rupees from your credit card. So when you convert your subscription, when you convert your account with the pay as you go model, that time only Microsoft will be the responsible to deduct the required amount from your credit card. So during the free tier, okay, Microsoft will not deduct a single rupees also from your credit card. So the credit card is required for only the verification purpose. So Microsoft wanted to verify your name and your account as well. So credit card details and mobile number details. Okay, so like three details we would required. Okay, three details we would required to create the account on Microsoft portal. So what I wanted to highlight here, in my scenario, my email address is cloudtechno pune @outlook.com. So this is the ID, and that particular ID I am going to use to demonstrate the labs and all the practicals. So this is my unique email address. Again, I have provided some my credit card details here, and again I have provided my number as well. Okay, so we'll understand like how Microsoft is going to act in the backend when we configure the account on Microsoft portal. So what we need to do, we need to configure the account on Microsoft portal. Okay, so when you use your unique email address, at that time only Microsoft is going to generate, or Microsoft is going to create one Azure Active Directory in the backend. So this is my unique address, unique ID, and in the backend Microsoft is going to deploy one Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory. And that particular Azure Active Directory Microsoft is going to deploy with .microsoft.com. So this is a default domain. This is a default parent domain I'm talking on Microsoft.com. And before on Microsoft.com, Microsoft will use, or Microsoft will deploy Azure Active Directory, okay, with the combination of your email address. So in my scenario, Cloud Techno Pune Outlook dot on Microsoft.com. So this is my complete Azure Active Directory domain. So on Microsoft.com is the parent domain, and Cloud Techno Pune Outlook is my child domain. Okay, and before that again you will get the @ where you can create the accounts and groups. So I wanted to highlight here one more point. So why Microsoft is creating the Azure Active Directory? So what is the use of Active Directory? So like what is Windows Active Directory into the on-premises, because you are familiar with the on-premises infrastructure. So what is Active Directory? Why it is required? What is the importance of Active Directory? Any guess?
It is a security boundary for the company to manage all the resources in a single screen.
Right, right. Okay. So, but why like companies are deploying the Active Directory? See, you will get the uh, Active Directory 100% into your infrastructure, right? So without AD, there is no option, right? There is no
Yeah.
option to manage the resources, manage the infrastructure, manage the printers, manage the users, manage the servers, manage the desktops and laptops. So the Active Directory is required for only the management purpose and authentication purpose, right?
Yes.
So when we compare, okay, when we compare Windows AD, so both are different concepts, okay? Windows AD versus Azure AD. Okay, one more point I wanted to highlight. So Azure Active Directory is not a replacement of Windows Active Directory. Just try to understand. Azure Active Directory is not a replacement of Windows Active Directory. So Windows Active Directory is required to manage the on-premises resources, and Azure Active Directory is required to manage the cloud resources. Okay, so which resources I'm talking? I'm talking Office 365, which is SaaS service, which is software as a service. Then I'm talking Tune. Okay, then I'm talking some software as a service. Okay, so those applications required Azure Active Directory. So without Azure Active Directory, you cannot deploy software as a service infrastructure. So let's take an example, like if you are going to purchase SharePoint, and again SharePoint you are using as a SaaS product. Okay, so in that scenario, Azure Active Directory is a requirement, is a prerequisite. So if you do not have Azure Active Directory, then you will not able to deploy the SaaS products. So Azure Active Directory is required for cloud authentication. Like when you deploy the products on Microsoft Cloud, then Azure Active Directory will be in the picture. Okay, when you work with when you deal with the on-premises, then Windows Active Directory is the required model. So any question till, any doubt till? Any question, yes or no? Any question?
Yogesh would like to see this transaction. I mean, if I want to change something on the on-premises on-prem Active Directory, and same time if I'm using some SaaS product, and we have the Azure AD as well. So how
Yes,
it will sync with each
yes,
other when
everything.
I'm
Yeah,
assigning
yeah,
any access and all.
yeah. Everything I'm going to demonstrate with the lab. Okay, you don't worry, because see, I'm highlighting, okay, all the important topics. Okay, like networking, like Azure Active Directory, like synchronization, everything I'm going to explain with the labs. You don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So, so till clear, or any question or any doubt? If any question, please tell me. Okay. So there is no questions, right? Okay. So this is why Azure Active Directory is going to deployed or is going to create automatically in the backend by Microsoft and completely managed by Microsoft. Okay. So that particular component completely managed by Microsoft. Completely managed by Microsoft. Okay. Because again we can say Active Directory as a service, AD as a service. Okay. Now once Azure Active Directory is getting created under your account, Microsoft is going to generate a subscription. So subscription is a logical boundary to to deploy the resources and to generate the bill as well. Okay. So subscription is a nothing but your logical boundary. So I can give here one more example. So let's take up example, like you have purchased your MACB meter. Okay. So when you purchase the MACB meter, or when you purchase any like postpaid account, so that particular vendor is going to create one customer ID, right? And your identification is nothing but your customer ID. So that particular vendor is not treating as your name. Okay, so that particular vendor every time will check your customer ID only, and as per the customer ID, okay, that particular vendor will manage your infrastructure or billing, we can say. With the same way, when you add the subscription, Microsoft is going to provide one subscription ID. Microsoft is providing subscription ID as well, and your identification is nothing but your subscription ID. So if you say like I have two subscription and I have configured the name like subscription 1 and subscription 1 and subscription 2, so Microsoft will not recognize your subscription. So when you raise a ticket with Microsoft, when you raise a ticket with your vendor, so you need to provide a subscription ID, and as per your subscription ID, then everything you will get as per a requirement. So subscription ID is for only to generate the bill. So let's take an example, like in your scenario or in my scenario, I have two subscription. So Microsoft will generate the two bills every month. Okay, once I complete my free subscription. So Microsoft will generate the two bills because I have two subscriptions. Okay, with the same way, if you have two postpaid connections, so every time your Airtel or Idea will generate the two bills, right? Because you have two connections. With the same way, if you have multiple subscription like 2, 3, 4, 5, Microsoft will generate the multiple bills as well. So the current scenario, like today's, we will discuss only the single subscription, but into the coming sessions, okay, we are going to discuss a multiple subscription as well, like how we can communicate with the multiple subscriptions, and we'll understand the scenario as well, like why we need a multiple subscriptions instead of a single subscription. So under the subscription, like I need to deploy a resource group, the next level. Okay, so this is my resource group. So resource group is nothing but it's a logical boundary to deploy the resources. Okay, let's take an example. You need to copy some data in your laptop. Okay, what is the requirement? To copy some data in your laptop, right? So what you will do, you will create a one directory, you will create a one folder on E drive, F drive. Okay, and under that folder you will copy the data. So my question here is like why you are creating the folder, why you are not copying all the data on directly on D drive or E drive? What is the use of directory? What is the use of folder? Any guess? I'm expecting some question from your side.
To identify particular data means.
To identify or to segregate your data, right? You're not
Yeah,
copying.
that is
Exactly. So you're not copying all the data in a single directory, right? Like your office data, you're keeping into the single directory. You're keeping your videos in a single directory. You're keeping some your recordings in a single directory, right? Means you're segregating the data, right, as per your requirement. With the same way, you can segregate the resources, Azure resources, by using the resource group. Okay, so let's take an example. You wanted to deploy 100 virtual machine, and out of 100 virtual machine, 10 virtual machine from production, 10 virtual machine from your DMZ, 10 production, 10 virtual machine from your test. So how you will segregate it, right? How you will do the segregation? So by using the resource group, you can achieve the segregation of the resources. So you can have a multiple resource groups. Okay, you can have the multiple resource group, but again one more point you need to understand, that particular resource group will be a map to your two objects. So the first object will be the subscription and second object will be the location. Okay, location is nothing but your physical data center. Physical data center. Location is nothing but your physical data center. So when you create a resource group, automatically that resource group is going to map, or you need to map that resource group into the physical data center. So why you need to map your resource group into the physical data center? Any guess?
it's during any crash or disaster, like we can retrieve the data or safer side. Like
Right. So like let's take an example. I wanted to deploy my infrastructure into the India region because I'm from India. Okay, let's take an example. My SBI wanted to deploy the infrastructure. Okay, SBI wanted to deploy the infrastructure into the Microsoft cloud. So SBI will not deploy the infrastructure in US region, right? SBI will deploy the infrastructure into the India region only as per the compliance, as per the security, as per the policy. Okay, so in such scenarios, you need to map your resource group with the physical data center. So like Microsoft having the multiple data centers. Okay, let me show you, then you will get the more idea. Azure locations. Okay, see, now in India, Microsoft having 3 data centers: Central India, which is located in Pune; South India, which is located in Chennai; and West India, which is located in Mumbai. Right. So when you do the compliance, when you do the audits, okay, so like as per the Indian governance, you cannot keep your data out of India. Okay, so you have to use India data center only. Okay, so if your customer from the United States, let's see USA, in US, Microsoft having the multiple data centers, like Central US, East US. So East US is located in Virginia, right? So in Virginia, Microsoft having 2 data center, East US and East US 2, North US Central. Okay, then Microsoft having the one more data center into the South Central US, which is in Texas. Then West Central US. Okay, California, West US 2, West US 3 also coming soon in 2021. Okay, so as per that particular sheet or that particular article, Microsoft having the multiple data center into the US region compared to India. Now you can cross check with some different country as well. Go to the Germany. Under the Germany again, Microsoft having the multiple data center. So the 4 data center Microsoft is maintaining into the Germany. Go to the Canada, 2 data centers. Okay, Canada Central and East. Let's go into the France, 2 data centers. So now day by day, Microsoft, Japan, East and West. So day by day, Microsoft is expanding the physical data center across the globe. Okay, so in future, Microsoft can deploy a more data centers into the India region as well. It's completely depend on your sizing and load. If Microsoft is getting the more workload, more business from the India, then definitely Microsoft will plan to deploy a one more data center into the India region. Okay, it's completely depend on requirement. Okay, so any question till, any doubt till? Any doubt, any question? Okay, so that's why, like I have mentioned here, when you create a resource group, that particular resource group should be a map with the subscription, and that particular resource group should be a map with the physical data center. Okay, so why subscription? Because you are going to deploy a resources under the resource group. Okay, so what is the next level? The next level will be the resources, and under the resource group you are going to deploy a resources. So virtual machine as a resource, storage account as a resource, firewall as a resource, network as a resource, IP address as a resources. So everything you are going to deploy under that particular resource group. See, this is my virtual machine, this is my storage account, this is my public IP, everything we are going to discuss. Okay, IP, then Azure.
Yogesh, this
Yeah.
resource group is the same thing what we call as organization unit, or how is it?
No, OU will be the different concept. Yeah, OU will be the different concept. Resource group you can compare with your folder and directory into the Windows. Okay,
Okay,
like
okay,
like resource group you are going to create, okay, to keep your resources, okay, with the proper manner. Like you are keeping your data in your laptop and desktop, right? You're not keeping or you're not maintaining all the data on a C drive or D drive directly, right? You are creating the multiple folders, you are creating multiple directories, right? Okay, so the resource group, okay, is a object, and under the resource group you are going to deploy the actual resources like SQL service. So SQL service again is a part of a resource group. So everything you need to deploy a resource group. So when you go with the reverse way, so resources cannot be created without resource group. Resource group cannot be created without subscription. Subscription is not created without Azure Active Directory, and you will not able to deploy Azure Active Directory without your account. So this is your Azure account. So this is a dependency. This is the dependency. Like your Azure Active Directory is completely depend on your Azure account, which is your email address. Your subscription is depend on your Azure Active Directory. Your resource group is depend on subscription, and your resources depend on your resource group. So this is the hierarchy. This is the structure. Till any question, any doubt?
Uh, one a subscription is for one user.
No, no. One subscription for one organization. One subscription can be allocated to one business unit. One subscription can be allocated to one client. One subscription can be allocated to one team. One subscription can be allocated to one business unit as well. It's completely depend on the requirement, okay, and depend on your infrastructure designing as well. So today I'm going to give a multiple scenarios, then you will get the more idea. So let's take an example. This is a small client. This is the company ABC, and ABC company wanted to deploy 20 servers. 20 servers, and let's see 15 web application. Web applications they wanted to deploy on Azure platform. So they can have only the single subscription. But into the next scenario, I'm going to give with the multiple subscription. So any question till any doubt till into the first scenario? Okay. So one more point I wanted to highlight, like when you generate the account, when you create the account, Microsoft is going to provide a permission here, which is account admin. So that particular ID will be the account admin. Okay. By default, that particular account will be the account admin. When you generate the subscription, you will get the one more permission from the Microsoft, which is subscription admin. And now that particular ID is the subscription admin as well. So you can have only one account admin. You can have only one subscription admin. Okay, we can have only the one account admin. We can have only the one subscription admin. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Hey, sorry guys, because one call is going on into simultaneously. Okay, from the office. Yeah. So so any question till from your side? No question, right? Okay. So let's go into the another scenario. So into the second scenario, like I have one ID which is .com. Under that, Microsoft is going to deploy Azure Active Directory.
So can you share screen?
I believe it is stuck. Okay, let me share. Yeah. So this is Azure Active Directory with .com. Under that, now we have two subscriptions. Subscription 1, and again I have subscription 2 as well. Subscription 2. Okay, so we need to understand like why we need a two subscription. Let's take an example. This is IBM company, and IBM company has purchased the Microsoft Azure for internal use. Okay, and IBM having the multiple BUs. Let's see, IBM having one software BU, Microsoft your IBM having one. Let's see, hardware BU. Okay, so the subscription 1 is completely bind or completely mapped to software view, and subscription 2 is completely bind for the hardware. Okay, so what IBM wanted to do, IBM wanted to separate the billing of two units, because this is a business unit I'm talking. You is the BU, right? So this is the separate identity. This is the separate identity, and under that subscription, then you can have a multiple resource group. Resource group 1, and under resource group you have multiple resources. You have multiple resources. You have multiple resources, right? Then you have multiple resources. You have multiple resources. Any question till you got the idea like why people are creating the multiple subscriptions, and we can have a maximum 2 subscription in a single account. 200 subscriptions, sorry. 200 subscriptions we can have in a single account. So any question, any doubt till? No question? Arjun, any question from your side? Amol, any question?
No.
Okay, so let's go into the portal, and I wanted to demonstrate a portal here. Azure portal. Okay, so this is the portal, and under the portal, like you will get here your account. Okay, like which ID you are using to the login into the portal. Like I am going to use my account, which is cloudtechnopune@outlook.com. This is my mail address. And when you go into your services, so the all services Microsoft is offering. See, so we are going to touch required services as per the certification and as per the business requirement. So let's take an example of the networking. So this is a compute service. Under the compute service, you will get the multiple services like virtual machine skill sets, first VM skill set, classic functions. There are multiple options. There are multiple services which Microsoft is offering. Under networking, again Microsoft is giving up multiple services like virtual network, load balancer, express route, CDNs, network watcher, security groups, public IPs, network adapters, interfaces, public IPs. So like a maximum services we are going to focus from the networking as well, because networking is a very important. So when you do any designing, when you do any migrations, without networking you will not able to do the migration. Without networking you will not able to do the deployment as well. So we will discuss networking in depth. Okay, because networking will be the backbone of your infrastructure. Okay, when you do the migration, because once you deploy the infrastructure on Microsoft cloud, and if anything goes wrong, okay, from the networking side, you will not able to change easily. Okay, so like the complete infrastructure you need to redeploy it. That's why we need to follow the best practices which Microsoft is saying, and by using the best practices you can design your infrastructure. Okay, so each and everything we are going to discuss into the labs. So those are multiple, see under the storage again, multiple services you will get. So those services offered by Microsoft, and you need to choose, you need to pick up the service as per your requirement. So let's go into the search bar, and into the search bar we can search Azure Active Directory. See, so this is the Azure Active Directory, and this is a default Active Directory which is generated by Microsoft. And see, this is the name of the Active Directory which I was showing. Primary domain cloud techno pune outlook dot on microsoft.com. And before on, okay, as per our diagram, we can create a users and we can create a groups. We can create a users and we can create a groups. Okay, by using that particular domain, means like you can have account like Arjun @cloud techno pune outlook dot on microsoft.com. Okay, I can create one account. I can provide the permission on my Office 365. I can provide the permission on my SaaS. I can provide the permission on my Azure resources as well. So that particular topic, okay, I'm going to demonstrate with the Azure Active Directory session. Okay, so each and everything I'm going to demonstrate. So let's go into the portal. Okay, so this is the Azure Active Directory. You will get option as a users. You can create the user. Okay, you will get option as a groups. You can create a groups. Okay, and you can provide the permissions as well. So next I wanted to demonstrate one more tab, one more service, which is subscription. So just we need to search subscription. Okay, now currently I have two subscriptions. Okay, this is my pay as you go subscription, and this is my Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. So like I'm having two subscriptions. Okay, so both subscription is a part of single Azure Active Directory. Okay, let's go here into the diagram. See, subscription 1 and subscription 2 is a part of my Azure Active Directory. So what I can see here, let's go into the portal, go to the first subscription. Okay, so see, we can see here details. This is my subscription name and this is the subscription ID. So name can be a change anytime. We can rename them of the subscription. So the subscription ID is the very important. When you raise a ticket with Microsoft, okay, you need to provide a subscription ID only during the ticket creation. Now Azure Active Directory, see directory, and this is a default directory. Okay, Cloud Techno Pune Outlook dot on Microsoft.com. Let's go into the another subscription. See subscription ID, and this is my directory here. So without Azure Active Directory, you cannot have the subscription. So subscription, to deploy the subscription, you should have a Azure Active Directory. If you say like I do not have Azure Active Directory and can I create a subscription? No. To create a subscription, we should have a Azure. To create a subscription, we should have Azure Active Directory. So any question till, any doubt till, any doubt, any question? Okay, so what we'll do, we will stop here, okay, and we will connect next week, okay, because some migration activity is going on, okay, at my end. So we will continue next week, okay, next Saturday. I will update the time on the WhatsApp group, and then we'll continue. So any question till, any doubt till? Arjun, any question?
Yogesh, Arjun here.
Yeah, Arjun.
Can you just show us, means just I created my outlook.com ID, Microsoft ID.
Right.
So how we logged into the Azure portal, how
Exactly.
we subscribe
See,
and all
yeah,
these things. Yeah.
yes, see what you need to do. Let's go into the Google Azure account. Okay, use that link, create your free account today, and just click here, start free. So once you click here, okay, in my scenario already I have created the account, so it will redirect here only. So once you click here, Microsoft will ask the required details like name, ID, and credit card details you need to fill, and then automatically it will generate a free subscription for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
if
sir.
any problem, any doubt, you can ping me on WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay, sir. Then.
Yeah, next week, see what I recommend, instead of creating the account today, let's create a next week. Okay, because in next 7 days you are not going to do anything, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So from the next means from the coming Saturday, fully we are going to deploy the virtual machines and other components. Then again you will get more 7 days to utilize that account.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So any doubt, any question? Amol, Swapnil, Lakshmi.
No.
Okay, Vaibhav, any question? Amir, Prasad, any question?
Apart from this,
Nothing.
means I will get full knowledge of 104, right? 104
No,
series.
104 and 303. I'm targeting 303 more. Why? Because you all having more than 7-8 years experience. Like, so people will not ask like how to deploy virtual machine. People will ask like how you will design your infrastructure. Okay, so that I wanted to give as a highlight or demonstration.
Okay.
Because
So
yeah,
actually, I'm thinking to write a certification for this.
sorry,
I'm thinking to write a certification 104 because
right. Yes. See, 104 will be the basic one. Okay. So definitely once you complete 104, 303, definitely you will able to give the 104 also. Okay. So any question till Monica from your side?
Nothing, sir.
Yeah, but you got the concept, right? You're getting the things which I have explained.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. What about Prasad, Samir?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm getting the concepts.
Yeah. Because those concepts are very important. Okay, without those concepts, like you will not able to crack the interview. And again, I'm going to help you to prepare the CV and to prepare the interviews as well.
Uh, Once this completion, so actually I don't have any hands-on practice for Azure. So once completion of this, how it will help me in interview perspective, means how many years I can keep, or
Sorry. What is your
I
question?
don't have any hands-on practice on Azure currently. Actually,
Uh,
we are working fully on premises.
right.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah. You're asking very valid question. I agree. So like in that scenario, what you need to do, you need to do the practice, okay, hands-on practice, and then you need to show some experience on your CV. If you say like you are the fresher into the Azure, okay, definitely you will not get a job. Okay, and 99% labs you can perform on your account and your home as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yogesh,
So
this
you
is
will be
Vaibhav.
helping on interview,
Yes.
cracking that interview
Yes.
also, right?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Any question?
Yes, Yogesh. This is Vaibhav. Actually, I
Hmm.
am also fresher for this course. Means I just joined it bit late, so due to which I'm not able to connect with all your concept and all these things. And one more request to you,
Mhm.
it would be great if you can explain the concepts much more in detail. Like we are new to this field. Means
Yeah.
actually, I'm new
Yeah.
to this field and I'm completely fresher. So you just say ECIS and like Hyper-V.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware about
So,
these
so,
concepts. So
so
it would,
what? Yeah, Vaibhav, I agree. What you need to do? Okay, I will give. Okay, if you register, I will give some links, YouTube links. You need to prepare. Okay, required things. Okay, if you ask me to explain a virtualization and everything, then your course will go 6 months. Okay, so the like my expectation is like you should aware a basics of virtualization, networking, okay, servers, operating system, basics one, and then I can explain each and everything from Azure side. Okay, so
okay,
this is the expectation from my side.
great. Not an issue. And one more thing. Do I have your number so that I am having some another queries as well that
Yes,
I can.
yeah, definitely. Okay, just give me 1 minute.